When he started singing, everyone went silent, pure magic from the Philippines. It was one of those humid Manila afternoons when the city buzzed with the sound of jeepneys, vendors calling out, and the low hum of life in motion. Inside the crowded plaza, a small stage had been set up for the annual Barangay Talent Night, a local contest that drew children, teens, and even the occasional hopeful adult with dreams far bigger than their surroundings. Among the lineup that day was a boy named Elijah Cruz, 12 years old, barefoot, wearing a faded white shirt too big for his skinny frame. He stood quietly at the edge of the stage, clutching a dented microphone, waiting for his turn. The host barely noticed him when calling his name. Next up. Elijah Cruz. The crowd didn't react, they were too busy chatting, eating skewered barbecue, or scrolling on their phones. Elijah took a deep breath, stepping forward as the sun dipped behind the rooftops. His mother, sitting on a plastic chair at the back with her baby wrapped in a towel, watched with quiet pride. She had sold vegetables all morning to buy his bus fare and entry fee. When the soft music began, an old Elvis Presley classic, "Can't Help Falling in Love," a few people laughed. "Elvis?" "From this kid," someone whispered. Elijah closed his eyes. For a moment, the world seemed to still, and when he began to sing, his voice was nothing short of breathtaking, rich, deep, and filled with emotion far beyond his years. It wasn't just mimicry, it was as if the spirit of every dream he'd ever held, every hardship he'd endured, flowed through each note. Within seconds, the crowd went silent. Even the sizzling grills stopped hissing as vendors paused to listen. A child's balloon floated upward, forgotten. The plaza, always noisy and alive, became a cathedral of sound and awe. The small boy with no shoes and no stage experience was pouring his heart out, every word carrying a story of love, hope, and pain. His voice cracked slightly near the bridge, and in that imperfection, people felt something real, pure, human, and utterly moving. Among the audience was a man named Michael Tanner, a retired American music producer visiting the Philippines to explore local culture. He had come to buy souvenirs, not to find a voice. But as he listened to Elijah sing, his chest tightened. The boy reminded him of his own son who had passed away years earlier, also 12, also with dreams of music. Michael felt tears sting his eyes. When the final note faded, there was a heartbeat of silence, then thunderous applause erupted. People stood, shouting, clapping, whistling. The host dropped his microphone in disbelief. Elijah, overwhelmed, bowed shyly, tears glimmering in his eyes. For the first time in his young life, he felt seen. Later that night, after the contest ended, Elijah didn't win, a dance group took first place. Michael approached the boy and his mother. "Your voice, it's a gift," he said softly. Elijah smiled shyly. "Thank you, sir. I just sing because it makes my mama smile." His mother's eyes glistened with pride and exhaustion. She apologized for her English, for their clothes, for not being enough, but Michael interrupted gently, "Don't ever apologize for love." Over the next few days, Michael couldn't stop thinking about Elijah. He visited their neighborhood, a small community along the Pasig River where the smell of fish and diesel mixed in the air. He found the boy helping his mother wash laundry for neighbors. When Michael offered to record his voice, Elijah refused at first. "We don't have money for things like that," he said. Michael smiled. "I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for a chance, to help you be heard." Weeks later, Michael uploaded a simple video of Elijah singing the same Elvis song, recorded with an old camera under the mango tree in their yard. No flashy lights, no studio polish, just a barefoot boy with a voice that could melt stone. Within days, the video went viral. Millions watched. People around the world shared it, calling him the Filipino Elvis and the boy with the golden soul. Donations poured in. A local foundation offered to send Elijah to school. A music label from Manila reached out with an offer to train him professionally. But what touched Elijah most wasn't the fame, it was when his mother whispered one night, you've given us hope again, Anak. My child. Months later, Elijah stood on a bigger stage. This time in Los Angeles, as a guest on an international talent show. As the lights dimmed and the first note played, he glanced into the crowd and saw Michael sitting in the front row, tears shining in his eyes. Elijah smiled, then sang his heart out once more. And again, when he started singing, everyone went silent. The boy from the streets of Manila had brought the world to its knees, not with wealth or power, but with pure, unfiltered soul. His voice became a bridge between worlds, a reminder that greatness doesn't need permission, and that sometimes, the most beautiful things come from the humblest places. And when the final applause filled the hall, Elijah looked up at the lights, whispered a quiet prayer, and smiled. Somewhere inside, he knew this was just the beginning, not only for him, but for every child who ever dreamed barefoot under the stars, believing that someday, somehow, their voice would be heard.